The possibilities of what you can do once you're properly dropped into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's massive open world are practically endless, and perhaps just a little bit overwhelming. You begin the game with no money, no horse, very few skills, the most bare bones of equipment, and little direction on where to go to remedy any of those issues. Obviously, this is by design, and you're intended to figure those things out for yourself. But if you'd like a few nudges in the right direction to make the early goings of the game a little smoother, here are 10 things to do first in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. After a series of events in the prologue chapter, you'll find yourself in the care of an old woman named Bojena. After bandaging yourself up and filling your belly, take a walk outside and you'll see the dead bastard that Hans managed to kill. Make sure that you loot him to get basic armor, a weapon, and some food to keep you fed, as this is the only good opportunity you'll have for free easy gear for a while. You'll also learn how to brew potions in Bojena's hut. Don't just grab the bare minimum sage and chamomile to satisfy the quest objective. Spend some extra time in Bojena's garden, getting some more herbs so you can continue to practice making the chamomile decoction even after doing your first guided brew. You'll not only get better at making stronger potions, but you'll also increase your alchemy level, which will let you get the secret of equilibrium perk once you're able to add to your perks after going to bed for the night. I'd highly recommend this perk as it makes the game far more forgiving of minor mistakes in the brewing process, making it much easier to increase the quality and quantity of potions made every brew, ultimately saving you a ton of time and resources. Speaking of those perk points, make sure that you spend them. It may be overwhelming because there are so many perks and you're given a ton of points to start out, but it's very much worth spending some time here and reading what each perk does. They provide helpful stat increases and bonuses that will go a long way in making this early game period much more manageable. Remember that there are multiple tabs to sift through as well. After the whole ordeal with Hans leaves you practically naked and alone in the starting town of Troskowitz, you should have a quick chat with the beggar named Bara, who's the first NPC you will see once you regain control.
Now things can only get better.
She has a ton of useful information, and most importantly, she'll be able to start off a few important quests by placing markers on your map. Make sure you specifically ask her about Tomcat and how to get into the wedding to get those waypoints added to your map.
Till we meet again.
After talking with Bara, your first stop should be the apothecary at the west end of the town. Here you can sell some of the potions you made at Bojena's to be able to afford some belladonna and nettles, which are the 2 ingredients you'll need to brew some savior schnapps. Make sure you read the recipe in your inventory to add it to your recipe book, and then take the ingredients to the nearby alchemy bench outside and start brewing. Savior Schnapps is extremely important as this is the resource you need to do a manual save. Without Savior Schnapps, you'll only be able to save when you sleep on a bed you own, at important moments of a quest, or when you exit the game from the main menu. Make a bunch, and always keep track of how many you have remaining, because there's nothing worse than having to make a risky decision or engage in a tough fight and not having the ability to save beforehand. The next thing you'll want to do is make travel less of a pain in the ass, and in order to do that, you'll need to find your horse. You can steal a horse in Troskowitz from the southern part of the town fairly risk-free, and you should because you'll need to travel quite a distance to get to where you need to go. But a stolen horse is only a temporary solution, since you can't whistle them to come back on command. Once you're ready to make the journey, follow the road directly southwest until you reach the town of Samin. One of the first things you'll spot as you reach the town are the stables, and if you look closely, you'll be able to spot Henry's horse from the beginning of the game, Pebbles.
Wait, that's my Pebbles, my girl. I thought they killed you down by that pond.
Talk to the groom Balate, who should be hanging out right by the horses, but if he's not, you might also be able to find him inside the room underneath the stairs in the nearby house. It should be a fairly easy skill check to convince Balate to give you Pebbles back simply by selecting Be Reasonable. But just to be safe, you might want to use a Savior Schnapps before making the attempt, as if you fail, you'll need to hand over 160 Groschen, or haggle him down. It's worth noting that as far as horses go, Pebbles is pretty rubbish, sorry, and you may want to consider getting a better one once you're able to afford it. But for this early part of the game, she will be a godsend when it comes to getting around. Now that you have your horse, another area that you should hit up early on is the Blacksmith in Takov, which is to the north of Troskowitz. You can fast travel back to Troskowitz, or any town you've discovered for that matter, and then just follow the trail north to reach the town in no time. The blacksmith, Radovan, will take you on as an apprentice and teach you how to forge a hunting sword. Much like potion brewing, you should take some extra time crafting all the things that Radovan gives you a recipe for. You can sell these back to him and make some extra money, and the very act of smithing will increase your craftsmanship level, which can get you some pretty great perks down the road. Not only that, but taking on Radovan's quest is also one of the ways to progress the main quest forward, and becoming his apprentice will grant you access to your own room, where you can sleep and store items for free. Your next stop will be the Nomad camp far to the west. You can fast travel to Samin and follow the western path out of the village, following it as it curves up towards the marker that you should have after talking with Bara. Once you reach the camp, chat with Tomcat at the fighting arena and get him to teach you some sword fighting techniques. He'll teach you vital basic combat techniques for free, like how to do combos, along with teaching you some of the other nuances of sword fighting. Once you're done with the basics, you can also get him to teach you the Master Strike, but in order to do that, you'll need to defeat him in combat first. We have a separate guide on how to obtain the Master Strike, which you can watch for more detailed tips, but to summarize, while it's certainly possible to defeat Tomcat early on and gain the skill immediately, you'll have a much better chance if you level both your sword and warfare skills to level 8 and get both the Hardened Veteran and Precise Strike perks. Once you gain the Master Strike, you'll be much more formidable when it comes to sword fighting and will be able to survive fights that would otherwise prove extremely challenging. Next stop is going to be the Lower Samin Mill, which is a short distance to the southwest from Samin. Here you'll find Miller Crazel. By talking with him, you'll be able to get a job hauling flour from the barn to a wagon. And as boring as that sounds, you should definitely do it because ultimately, it will lead to a questline that will teach you the ins and outs of thievery. Note that when you are given a practice lockbox to learn how to use lockpicks, you can keep on practicing on this box to increase your skill level as much as you want. Right next to the practice box on the table, you'll also find a dagger and several lockpicks that you should snag for free as well. The dagger will dramatically help with the success and speed of your stealth takedowns, which you can also learn here along with how to pickpocket. That's not all you can do here though. Crazel will also tell you about how he sends fighters over to Zelioff to compete in a little fight club. If you manage to defeat all 3 of his hired hands, you'll get to go instead, with Crazel fronting the entry fee of 100 groschen. This is a great way to make some money early on and increase your unarmed and warfare skills as well. Now it's time to find your best friend. No, not Hans, obviously, I mean Mutt. You should have a marker on your map leading you to the starting point of this fairly lengthy quest. I'm not going to go through every single step in detail in this video, but here's a couple of quick tips to move it along. After helping the shepherd with his wolf problem, ignore going to the fisherman's and just go straight to the huntsman's house, where you'll be asked to bring him back home. But you'll find that once you find him, you won't be able to take him back home until you find his horse that was taken by bandits. Those bandits are no joke, and once you reach their hideout, you'll have to deal with a whole camp of them. Stealth is the best option here, and you can put those silent takedown skills that you learned at the mill to use. Once you get Huntsman Vostetek's horseback, you'll get a bunch of groschen for your trouble and finally learn the location of your dog. You'll need to travel to the marked location at night and be prepared to fight a whole pack of wolves in the dark. Once you defeat them, make sure you go inside the cave and loot the mound for some valuable jewelry that you can either sell or wear for yourself. Also right next to the mound is a broadsword, which you should pick up because it's probably an upgrade of what you're currently holding. Mutt himself will prove a valuable ally, as he can be commanded to sick enemies, opening them up for a free strike. And outside of combat, he can be used to track the scent of items in your inventory. You'll need to make sure that his obedience level stays high by feeding him, praising him, and ensuring that he doesn't take too much damage in combat. You can check Mutt's obedience level by going to the companion tab in the menu. There are of course so many other things you can do, side quests to complete, and areas to explore, but these 9 things should cover all the basics and put you in a position to be able to overcome even the toughest challenges in the early game. Thanks for watching, and for more Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, make sure to check out any of these other guide videos, including everything you need to know about alchemy, some more in-depth tips on how to get the Master Strike, and much more.